Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Airships Conquer the Skies. Today's beverage is a very nice cup of Earl Grey, very nice indeed. So welcome back to Airships, where in the previous video, which was some time ago now as of the time recording, we were once again designing and fighting and specifically building an airship, and we made what I think is possibly the worst vessel that I've ever made, aside from the ones where we acknowledge it's going to be daft. This was a serious attempt at making the, well, what is now named the SP Kite, and it was all about bringing along a guided missile for as cheap and as sort of effective as a platform it could be. And technically it's armed with two weapons, the rifle and the guided missile, but it's all about the guided missile, and the objective was to make it so it would go quite high up in the sky or be able to go quite fast and away from the opponents. That's why we've got the large suspendium chamber and be able to fire the missile. However, although it could do all of that, it just didn't work for a myriad of reasons. Mainly, it's just not really the weapon system for what we were trying to achieve. I still think it's a bit overpointed anyway for what it is, but yeah, 2,000 points, 2015 generic units of currency to make this thing, and it didn't work. So there's been a lot of suggestions on how we fix it, but quite frankly it's just hitting a little bit too close to home to make a version 2 of that. So we will look at this at some point in the future perhaps. However, for now we're going to take a step away and go in a bit of another, maybe more normal direction. I do really think that showing the failures is just as important, if not more, than the successful ships. It just shows you, the inspiration behind it and the ideas, etc. But there we go. Anyway, so over to our landship editor, and if we go to open design, we've got several designs that we've made. Actually, only 3 to be fair. We've got the SP Elk, which is based on a previous design called the Winter, and it was a serious attempt at making the best tank we could, and quite frankly it is very, very good. It's obviously been through many variations. It's got an Imperial cannon, it's got 2 front turrets, it's got a heavy turret and some flat cannons, so it could deal damage at long range. It's got good armor. It's not actually that slow. The only real downside is that it is expensive at 3 grand, and I guess boarding could be a problem, although we do have defenses against that as well. And it's also got a lot of staying power because of its like repair shop and sick bay and such. Oh, it also bottoms out very easily as well, but it is still a reliable vessel. The SP Llama is absolutely useless. It was an attempt to make a cheap vessel with ballistas. We did that, but quite frankly the airship does a better job. And then there's the Pig, which is just a big tower full of cannons, and it was okay, but this time we're going to go for something that we haven't made in quite some time. That's a mini tank. We've made lots of mini tanks in the past, mainly focused around the dorsal turret, because as you might imagine it's quite a decent thing to put on there. We've also went ones with front turrets and heavy cannons, and also we've made one with just a heavy turret on the top, which was quite an interesting one. However, one of the things I want to look at is using the suspendium array. I think the suspendium array is possibly the best weapon in the game. My favourite is always, I've said, is the aerial torpedo, just because I think it looks really cool and it makes a big boom when it gets to the target. However, the suspendium array is just brilliant. It is relatively expensive compared to the other stuff. 432 generic units of currency, requires the suspendium projection, which is a tier 4 technology. That's when you're doing the conquest mode. Obviously this is just a sort of build and fight thing, so we don't need to worry about that. It's a highly accurate beam of charged suspendium dust. Piercing damage is 12 times 12, so lots of damage there. Reload time is only 4 seconds. The arc of fire is absolutely immense. In fact, we don't really need the arc of fire, but it comes with it, I guess, for free. Maximum accurate range is also amazing at 3,300 meters. You got some weight and HP there, and it requires a unit of coal, and it is only slightly flammable. If you compare that to, say, the suspendium cannon, which is a little bit cheaper, obviously it does 90 piercing damage, so a lot of damage on the first hit. It basically just blows a clean hole through whatever it hits, and the damage is about the same there. The range is the same, 3,300 meters, and again requires a unit of coal. So it's pretty good, and we have made tanks based on that, but very limited arc of fire. So I want to make a weapon system based around, well, this is the weapon, and we're going to put the minimum possible to make this thing work. So the minimum amount of crew, the minimum amount of probably coal to make this thing work, although we may go a little bit more, and then we're not going to use a, we're going to use probably a, do we use a bridge? Or do we just go with just a cockpit? Probably a cockpit. We're not going to go with telescopes. It's unlikely because it's too expensive. So anyway, let's just crack on. So over to our propulsion, and obviously there's many options, and I'm going to go with the cheapest possible thing, which is technically these small legs, and that would go in. It does work, however, you can see the weight is potentially an issue. Let me just continue on and place some things in here. So in terms of resources, we're going to go with a coal store, which will go on the back there, and already I'm feeling that this may not... Yeah, the ship is very heavy and may have difficulty navigating terrain. If I was to remove the legs, for example, so we've got the tracks, which are a little bit more expensive. You've also got medium legs as well, so let's go with medium legs. That would be 144, that, whereas tracks are 170. Medium legs needs articulated machinery tier 3, whereas tracks needs just landships tier 2. So the technology is cheaper for that one. The tracks, if we put the tracks on, it's much better for in terms of weight, and it does look more like the tank design that I wanted. So I'm probably going to go with this here, to be honest. It seems to be fine. In terms of armor, I hadn't really thought of what the armor would be. It's going to be based on cost. So if we go with, well, we've currently got wooden armor there. If we go wooden armor across the board, what if we went with steel armor? It would increase the cost a little bit, but not a huge amount. We'll maybe go with, say, wooden armor for now, and like I say, try and go for as cheap as possible. We do need a couple of things to make this function. So we need command and crew. I want to put a cockpit in there like so. I also need some sort of crew. Minimum crew is currently 5, but if I put in most likely a crewman quarters like so, that'll give us 12 crew. That's not really required. If we just go with crewman bunks and go with, say, 1, 2, that will bring us over. See, the recommended is 9, so we could put 3 of those in. But that's 1, 2, 3. No, you're actually best off. It's cheaper to just go with the crewman quarters. So it's crew of 12, recommended is 9, and we need more supply hatches. So if I just put a supply hatch on the back, would that then function? I think it would, you know. Let's go over to our, is it in basic here, in steel supply hatch? And there you go. That is technically a vehicle that would work. Like, it's not gonna break any records, but it's there and it exists. In terms of expense, what if we were to put the wooden armor back on? Reinforced wooden armor, no, standard wooden armor. Wooden armor would be 530 generic units of currency. Steel armor would be 623. I think we go with the wooden armor and see how that fares, and we'll come back and do a version 2 later on. We could put a crow's nest on, and that would only be an additional 20 generic units of currency, and quite frankly, increases weapon accuracy by 10%. I don't think we need it. I genuinely think that cheaper is better. Although, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this and put the bridge back there. At the back, for resources, I'm going to put, obviously, the wooden supply hatch. But I do want to put a fire extinguisher in. So I know it's going past the bare minimum. We could get away without it, but we also have a coal store. So maybe a coal store is better. What I'm also going to do is move these right down like that, so the fire extinguisher is right next to the coal saw. Right, so we do need a name for it. The naming convention is anything, like airship-wise, we call it after things that fly. Anything on the ground, we're using land creatures, and then anything that's stationary, we're naming after like trees and things like that. SP, I think we're going to call it the Fox, you know. I think the Fox is a fairly decent name. Let's save that design and save that, and let's just leave and see how this fares. So over to combat, and we'll go for a day fight here. We're going to go to a building, and the building that is closest to that price is the Keep of Crows, the Oak, probably the Silent Watch, but we're going to give ourselves a fighting chance with one of these Keeper of Crows. So we'll place that in there, and naturally that will go at the back. It's standard procedure for these things. And we're going to add a land ship, and we'll put in our Fox, and we'll put it, I mean, we could put it where we want it, but we're going to put it back there and start the fight. We're going to put on an aimed fire. And there you go, take aim, lads, and let's see how we get on. So obviously, we don't have any ammo, we just use coal. So every time we move, we'll be using coal, and every time we fire, I think it's every 10 seconds, we will use a unit of coal. You can see it is hitting, and we've already caused some damage up the top there. They have, on their side, it is 2 cannons and 1 rifle by the look of it. So we are causing some damage. Well, let's just go to the left-hand side and see how we are faring. We are quite a ways away here, and it's also, for some reason, it's like very high up. That's very strange. Go to outside view, and oh, good grief, we've already taken a considerable amount of damage. Alright, okay. We've lost armor, it's saying. So, yeah, already we have taken more damage than I would have thought we'd have taken, but it looks like they've also taken considerable damage. Considerable damage. Let's just see if any of these shots are gonna... Yeah, sadly they're missing there. So maybe spending that 20 extra on a crow's nest would be the way forward. I'm not too sure. Let's just check out the next 5 shots. So that's a miss. That's a hit. That's a miss. They're also out of ammo, these things, so... That's a hit. That's a hit. Hit and a miss. Okay, it's fine, I guess. It's hitting more than it's missing so far, looking at this. Let's speed up to max speed. Just carving away. But we've used half our coal stores already. Oh, we're missing a lot there. There's a fire. I think that's it defeated now. Yeah, okay. So that's a victory. Alright. We'll try that again. Combat, daytime fight, add in a building. This time it's going to be the Silent Watcher at the back. This is armed with almost triple the cannons of the other one. Add in a land ship of the Fox. Points values are, well, we're underpointed by not... We're on 537, they're on 696. So yeah. Quite considerable margin. Going to go on to aimed fire and just see how we get on. So there's them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannons plus 2 rifles. I've no doubt that unless we get lucky, we're going to come off worse. Follow action, apparently. I was on the left-hand side. That's a long ray. How are we doing over here? We're getting hit. Oh yeah, that's considerable damage. You see as we're getting hit, we're getting knocked back as well because of the impacts of the shots. Alright. Oh, we're on fire. We do have the ability to put out fire, which is good. But we've already used 4 of our water there. Alright, we're not going to survive this unless we get lucky. So we can't really outrange these things. Obviously we are underpointed. Let's put it to max speed and see how we get on. I have a feeling we're going to be destroyed shortly though. They've already lost a cannon, which means they can't get ammo to the top cannon. So they've actually run out of... They've only got 2 cannons realistically. 1 more cannon. We might win this. Like I say, I did say if we get lucky, we might be able to win this. But we are on half coal. Oh, that's it. We win. I think we got lucky. Okay. One thing I want to check. Airship editor, open design. Go to the Bluebird. Bluebird is armed with the same thing. It's armed with a suspendium ray. What's it armoured with? It's armoured with steel armour? Yes, it's steel armour. Okay. So, if that was, what was it, 1,194. And we are, with the land ship, 537. To equip it with steel armor would take us up to 633. Even then, it's around about half price. And if we were to shift things around like this. Oh, we don't need to do that. My mistake. I was going to shift things around because it means we can then put a crow's nest on, but we can put a crow's nest on anywhere. Crow's nest in there. It's only 20 extra, so it takes up to 650. That's reasonable. With steel armor. Okay. Telescope would be too expensive at 126. I'm going to save the design, and I'll overwrite the design. It is a bit of a change, but it's only armor and a crow's nest, so if we want to revert, we can easily revert. Back over to combat then, and we're going to add in, once again, the building, and we'll try the building we've just fought against, so place that there, then add in, obviously, the land ship of the Fox, which is now a little bit more expensive, but also hopefully a bit better. It should be more accurate and should have more staying power. So aim carefully. Yep, that's fine. And let's just have a actually look at our vessel this time. And go to outside view and speed up to max speed. You can see we are getting hit, but so far, I mean, is it doing us any favors? I don't know how they're doing. They've taken considerable damage. There's some fires that are spreading. And we got lucky last time, so... And these are obviously small sample sets. It sounds like I've just heard an explosion on our side. That didn't sound good. Let me just spend about 6 weeks going to the left-hand side. Wish scroll was a bit faster. It's because we're far away. And we'll get there eventually. Oh, we've lost the crow's nest. Right, of course we have. Right. Yeah, the crow's nest's gone. Not much of a surprise, I must confess. So, is it worth that 20? Ah, it's only 20. It should be fine. My main thing is about the armour. The armour's over 100 to armour it up. And we're almost out of coal. Oh, no, we're not out of coal. We're out of weapon. I think the weapon's destroyed. I'll wait to see what it says. But I think the weapon's destroyed. Immobile. No, immobile. I'm going to assume it's out of weapons as well. Okay, over to combat. Let's just make it a bit more interesting now. Let's go to our airship, and I'm going to put in the Bluebird. So this is... yeah, it's a flying version of it, which has a interesting profile. Looks like a clip art plane with a big sort of bulbous nose there. And land ship, obviously, we're going to go with the Foxes. We'll have one and then one and then two, and job done. So we are on 1,300. They're on 1,194. So we are overpointed, but obviously we do have 2 guns, whereas it only has the 1. It is coming towards me. It's trying to close the distance for whatever reason, but obviously we have twice the firepower. I've put them on aimed fire just because I can. I think that's the right option, although getting up close I might as well put it onto normal fire now. I don't think it's there's any reason to not just use standard shots. And we've already carved a bit of a hole in it, and taking out the front there. It has ceased. It's not moved for a little while. We are missing as well, which is a bit annoying. And only one shot. Oh! We're out. Okay. We are out of weapon. This weapon's been destroyed. Interesting. But for some reason it's shooting me. It's shooting this, and I don't know why. Oh, and it's lost its weapon. Right, so now we're going to go on to aimed fire. And I'm just going to clear this area out to get close now. That's it, that's a win. Strangely, it doesn't say it's out of... it doesn't say it's ran out of weapon. It just continues on doing its thing. Although it is very much on fire now. The mobility is actually quite decent because there's nothing in front of the tracks, and this is quite high up. So we're actually crushing the trees before we like hit with the weapon. Looks like that's going down. Okay. Yep, that's fine. And yeah, that's gonna be defeated anytime shortly. That's gone now. There we go. And that's a Vic and Terry both together. Let's try something a bit different. Let's try airship. And what sort of thing do we have that's really... Oh, I mean, the herring gull might be an interesting fight. So the herring gull is a bomber. I'm going to place it very far forward there. And we're going to add our land ship in. And it'll be the Fox. 1, 2, 3. We are... If we put 3 of them, we are overpointed by a considerable amount. So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is try to... Oh, so this is the thing. Do we keep them close together, knowing that we need to outmaneuver it? Or do we split them up so that... they're not crashing into one another? I'm not too sure. Either way, we're going to go on to aimed fire. And this thing is coming towards us, as you can see there. And we are obviously firing up into the sky. And the problem I have, and this is a big problem, but it's my problem, I have ordered this. I ordered them all to go on aimed fire. But the problem with that is that because we don't have options for, well, many options for recommanding this thing, it takes a while to change things. Oh, we've already won. Okay, fine. Yeah, what's happened now is it's drifting. We've managed to take out their propulsion and also one of their large suspendium chambers, and the other suspendium chamber is going to go down. That didn't last long, did it? Okay. See, there's not much... I don't think it really had much choice. It had to get close, because we've got technically more accuracy than that big bomber. It's a heavily armed bomber. So, dropping it from a great height would simply increase the time to target for the bombs and make it less accurate for itself. So, getting close and dropping was the call, and even after one pass, that's a considerable amount of damage there. Okay, back to combat then. We'll go with a night fight. Why not? It looks quite nice. We'll go for an airship, and I should point out, obviously, there are huge, huge downsides to this thing. If it gets boarded, it gets destroyed. Grappling could be a problem. Yeah, there's all manner of things. There's the Honeybee, 2,700 points. Let's put that in play. So, put it about there. I don't want to place it there because it might have problems maneuvering around that. So that's 2,700 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well overpointed. So, we've got 4. It's got 4. We are only 100 points cheaper. But we are armed with, I believe, well, the same weapon. But we also have the advantage of better armor. And it's already losing suspendium because it's only got suspendium gas bags. This is originally a low tier ship. So it has sails, it has gas bags, and it used to have on the front loads of ballistas, but we've removed those. Well, that looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? I like the look of that. That's cool. Yeah. But we retrofitted it to put like that thing on it. This is, interestingly, the front one is out of water and out of command, but it's still got a weapon. Also, I don't know what's going on there, but what I do know is that these are combining the rays. They are, yes, they are crossing the streams. I can't see this thing being in the sky for much longer, quite frankly. Oh, yeah. It still can... It can still maneuver. In fact, it is choosing to maneuver towards us. This... Well, they've already lost one of the rays. The second ray is ready to go by the look of it. There you go. And is it landing? No, it's just meandering around a bit. That guy, I just noticed as well, that guy took a full beam to the face and he's still standing. I don't know what's still seeing, but certainly standing on the crow's nest. Oh, good grief. So this one at the front has seen better days. It's technically under command, so I can order it. Everything is charred. The only thing that works and is still relevant here is the engine. So it can still drive. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. We still got these three fighting, and obviously that gives us a huge advantage. I mean, this fight's done. So we can't fall out of the sky. We have the same weapons, but we have better armor. And technically we have the same accuracy because we also have a crow's nest. My thoughts are, though, would it be better to remove the crow's nest and save 20 quid and remove the armour to give it the same armour as this thing, which is just the standard reinforced wooden armour, and that would give us an extra about 120, 30, which means we would have got almost another one of these in play. Is it all about the weapon? Well, yes. But, I mean, we could cheapen out by removing the crow's nest, removing the fire extinguisher, and... Oh, everyone's celebrating. Yeah, remove the crow's nest, remove the fire extinguisher, and put the lesser armour on. That would cheapen out by a considerable amount. But would that be going too far? I have a feeling it might, but I'd like to know your thoughts on that one. Let's go for probably a nice snowy... Or is it Winter's Day? Winter's Day. That's quite pretty, isn't it? Winter's Dusk. Winter's Day. What's the difference between that and day? Just the horizon's a bit different. I don't think there's any penalties for that. No, there's not. Just looks a bit different. Okay, we'll have one more try then. We'll go for an airship. And, I mean that's as standard as you're going to get, isn't it? This is HMS Belial, I think it is. But, what? ISS Vindicator. Ooh, let's put a Vindicator in. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna put that fairly close because it's probably gonna get close. That's a sentence. I'm just not too sure the words are correct or in the right order. Huh? How eloquent. Right, over to land ships and the Foxington. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so 8 Foxes is 5,200 generic units of currency. The opponent, with its one vessel, is 5,301. If we did save what I mentioned about the getting rid of the armor, getting rid of the crow's nest, getting rid of the fire point, we could have probably got... Well, I'll check the points in a moment. But at least another one. So it's going to not do anything. It's just going to sit there and shoot at us. You can see we are hitting quite reasonably. That looks very impressive when you hit it with all those rays. Good grief. I mean, the front one of these is getting absolutely plastered. So there's case in point there. Uh-oh. Just paused it, and that's incoming. So we've taken damage. If we had the weaker armor, would this already be destroyed? And secondly, if not, we wouldn't have been able to put that fire out. So is that worth it? I'm not convinced. I do think sticking with what we've got is okay, but wow, they've lost all suspendium. They can't fly. They also can't shoot with that gun anymore because it's just exploded. Another gun's exploded. Yeah, they're getting absolutely plastered. We've lost one of these, but we can still move, so I'm going to tell it to ram. Full speed ahead. Don't know if it'll get there, but... Oh my. It's been absolutely decimated. So, we have been defeated on this vessel. Or this thing here. The day's hours. I cannot believe we've defeated that. So, we were underpointed by over 100 points, and we only lost one of our land ships. Wow. Okay. Quickly then, open the design. The Fox. 650. Remove that. Remove that. And put the wooden armour on. Okay. Down to 530. So it's a saving of 120. But we don't have the 10% extra accuracy. We don't have the ability to put out fires, which seems to be quite a good thing. Good thing we can put out fires, not that we can't put out fires. I don't know why I should clarify that, but I shouldn't have to, but I think I will. Wooden armour, HP 50, absorbs 2 blast and 4 piercing. Steel armour, HP 50, so same. It's heavier, but it absorbs 2 blast as opposed to... It absorbs 16 blast. Wow. So 8 times as much blast damage. And 4 piercing and 6 piercing. So only 2 piercing extra. I wouldn't go with the steel wall. And I don't think I'd go with the reinforced wooden armour. It's mainly cannons we're getting hit off though, isn't it? So weapons-wise... Cannon is piercing, I believe. Yeah, piercing damage is 120. So, realistically, reinforced wooden armour wouldn't be all that bad. It requires slightly more tech. Actually, not really, because you're still on tier 2. So the reinforced wooden armour would give us less blast damage, but we don't really suffer from blast damage. We've been hit from cannons and things like that. Yeah, but still. Okay, well, we're going to leave it there for now. That's been a bit of airships, and that is the SP Fox. The original brief was to make a mini tank. I guess more specifically, it was to make a land ship that was as realistically as cheap as we could possibly make it, that brought a suspendium ray to the table. That was the whole point. We started off with, well, something similar to this. It's a box. Wanted to use the legs, but we didn't have the weight limit. We then upgraded it with a crow's nest, and we decided to keep the fire extinguisher and put in the armour. Would it be better with a different armour? Possibly. Its main strength is that it is cheap and that it brings along the suspendium ray. And like all of the mini tanks, it has to be fielded en masse. Would a bigger tank with more suspendium rays on it be better? Don't know. But I like it, and it seems to work on the limited testing that we've done. Let me know your thoughts on it, whether it be for just overall comments as to the design, changes you would make, what you think would be better for armour, whether you think we should make it as cheap as possible. We could always try that. Yeah, see how it goes. Also, based on how we field it as well, maybe should have field more of them or put loads more in there. Either way, that's been a bit of airships, and very much enjoyed building that. That was fairly cool. And I've just realised that in the background there we have the elk, but the missile's on its side. Huh. Anyway, hope you have enjoyed this episode of Airships. If you want to see more, by all means, let me know in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.